Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we're seeing more and more of these so-called titans of industry saying how they remain bullish long term. I feel the same way. None of the positive catalysts have went away. And I think a good question people need to ask is, why now? Why now? You don't find this suspicious that we've been reporting, and all of the top economists have been reporting on the stock market bubble since last year, but now this happens? The jobs data was horrible this entirety of the time, no matter how they want to spin it. I told you there were ghost job postings. Everyone knows that. All the people who are really doing research knows that there have been ghost job postings, and it's been super hard for people to find jobs that have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. They've been complaining about it online. It's not that difficult to find that information. So what was there was an illusion, which we've been talking about for quite some time. So this was always going to happen. So, but then they say, well, because of this information coming out, we're going to make moves now. No, that's a smokescreen. You're making moves now because there's something else. There's another reason why you want that market. Listen, they want that market to go down. They wanted it to go down, in my humble opinion. Is one of two things. See, you can let something naturally collapse, or you can collapse it yourself and have a bit of control. Which one do you think they're going to choose? If you let things happen naturally, you're not in control of the outcome at all. You have no say-so in the outcome, and it may not be favorable to you. But if you participate in it and you collapse something yourself, this is how a lot of people think. You destroy it yourself. You have some say in how it collapses. You have some say in the outcome. I think a lot of what's going on right now, we're seeing that. I do. But once again, it doesn't change the bullish nature of the future long-term for long-term participants in the crypto industry. This is why you're seeing Raoul Pal come out, Samson Mao come out. They're saying, hey, listen, we're still bullish. Nothing's changed. Now you're seeing Garlinghouse say, this article is literally titled, Ripple CEO's bullish prediction amid XRP price crash. Of course, well, he's going to continue to be bullish because Ripple knows what they've built. They know what they have on their hands. They know what the future is. Let's see what we have here. There's something here. I believe I had something with Vitalik here. Yeah, we have an article later with Vitalik in here where he's saying people are going to be surprised. I believe the same thing. Hey, if you're not in that members only section, I'm about to drop a video with some of my most potent thoughts on what's going on right now. And I'm telling you, it lines up, I believe, what they're saying and what I'm thinking from and is based on my research. I see the same thing. But what I see in the future is companies. I said this in the beginning when I first got here, didn't I? And now you see it manifesting. I believe companies are going to be the dominant in crypto. The legacy system is going to be the dominant as they chase away most of retail and they take over little by little. Their work never stops. Their strategizing never stops, but retail does. They don't take a step back, but retail does. Unfortunately, I'm just calling it how it is. If it was different, I would say differently. And so I believe that the future, they want that to be the biggest bull run of all time. And all of this is a build up to it. Sometimes you got to break down the foundation of a house before you build a new one. You don't want to build a new house on top of a rickety, crickety, old, worn down, dilapidated foundation. No, you got to break that thing down. Get rid of that house. Get rid of that foundation. Let's start fresh completely. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing right now. That's why I said what I said in yesterday's video, which I felt was very potent. I might not have been as eloquent as I typically am, but all of this plays right into the idea of the new financial system, does it not? They're showing the leaks. Let's move on here to this article here, okay? So I'm going to move on from that one. Now check this out, right? This person or this article writer raises a good point. This article is titled, "This is why XRP wins." Everything that we're covering as far as what they're setting up, they just brought T-bills onto the XRPL, interbank payments, B2B payments. None of that has changed. And Ripple's at the forefront of all of it, which means companies who are looking for someone to work with, I said this before, I'll say it again. Companies that are looking for someone to work with that is in a similar field, but out in the front of them, in advance of them, like Swift, I don't believe that it's beyond I don't think it's out there to believe that one day Swift and Ripple may work together. They don't step on each other's toes despite the verbiage. Now, I think a lot of the verbiage in the beginning is just Ripple being fired up about who they are and knowing that they're better than all of these other systems with their global reach, interoperability, etc. But I believe the goal was always for the legacy system to congeal. You heard me say that for years. Congeal with the new financial system. Swift is no different. They're already working with Chainlink. So then this section here is titled, Ripple does not seek to replace. Exactly. Notably, it begins, XRP has often taken center stage in discussions around disruption of traditional finance. This is due to its more efficient transaction system, which leverages the XRPL for faster and more cost-efficient payments. Well, they're going to be doing a lot. There's going to be a lot that's going to be brought to the XRPL. I believe when they get AGI, I believe AGI is going to be huge. Artificial general intelligence for crypto. You already hear some blockchains trying to work with it, like Flare, as an example. This is last November. Asset manager Grayscale identified XRP as a viable alternative to Swift. It's interesting they brought that up. I did not know they were going to reference Swift here, but Swift's global reach has been injured. They allowed themselves to be used as a weapon for the West. I don't see Ripple going against them. I see Ripple saying to them, hey, listen, we can help you out to glue everything together, lend you a little bit of interoperability, a little bit of our global reach. And they also go to the other side and say, hey, listen, over there in the BRICS nation, any of these countries, choose one. Hey, we can help you interact with the West with these systems without being bullied, for lack of a better word. I think that's where a lot of the big money will lie. Not to mention the flow back and forth of the value of real world asset tokenization. The tokenization of everything. Everything will be tokenized. That's why you got to look at the assets that everyone has. That's in the banks and whoever else. All of that will be tokenized, which means that value can move. That's why that's important now, more than ever, because they're all very, very excited about RWA. It says this sentiment is held by multiple industry experts. In September 2023, a live demo showed how XRP reduced transaction cost and time while facilitating payment between Japan and United States. It says this is evident in multiple partnerships that Ripple has secured with central banks across the globe for CBDC initiatives. There's a lot more, I believe, that's not said than is said. A lot more that they haven't revealed just yet, that they may after the case is over. And it's going to be potent, very potent. The top cryptos are set up, in my humble opinion, for an insane bull run. I'm standing by it. I feel that way until I see something that changes my mind. Long term, that short term, I'm not worried about the short term stuff. I can't be. That's just not. I'm not moving anything short term. I see something in the future. Both for the bank coins, man, the potential's out of this world. Also for Bitcoin, Ethereum is there also. Now, remember in the bank coins, I'm including Solana and Chainlink also, but Bitcoin is right there. I believe they want Bitcoin to be their personal piggy bank. The big companies are going to take over Bitcoin. They already are. They're going to dominate Bitcoin. They're going to drive that price up. Anybody who wants in will buy at a higher price. They won't have as much Bitcoin. It's going to be a rinse and repeat process. And I believe they look at Bitcoin like that because it's much more accessible to people than gold. A lot of people don't want to go through the processes of, interacting with traditional gold providers, and they don't want to hold physical gold, but digital is easy. They're streamlining a lot of these apps. I also think XRP is going to be in that mix as well. Like once they drive that price up, we'll see where it goes. We shall see. I think other entities will get interested as the price starts going up. People always get interested when the prices go up. They buy at a high. They don't buy at a low. When something's low, even though I think logic would dictate it's better to get it at a lower price. Not financial advice, by the way. Make your own decisions. But even though logic would dictate it's better to get something at a low price, people look at something at a low price and feel as though it's not wanted, feel as though it's trash or something like that, when that's not the case. You got to look at the tech behind it. Is the tech going to be needed? Is it something that's at the forefront? Is it the best of the best? That's what really gives it its potentiality. And then that gives it the opportunity to be picked up and used by the world and institutions later on. That's how I look at it, right? And that has worked out for me for quite a long time. But yeah, I think once those prices start going up, then everyone else will want to play. Not until then. Prices going up makes them a believer for whatever reason. All right. But the institutions know that as well. And they're going to use that, I believe, and drive the legit projects. They will. I think they're going to drive them up as much as possible. They'll crash them a few times. We already talked about this earlier this year, that this is going to be bloody. This is going, I mean, not bloody. This is going to be a lot of turbulence here. There's going to be a lot of that. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs until the explosion happens. And that's for a reason. But yeah, the future is looking unbelievable right now. They have a lot. There's a lot going on. So they go a little deeper into the central banks and in different projects that Ripple has brought forward. But we already know about that. I'm going to go here to this next article. Bear with me today. I have so many thoughts. I'm just jumping around here. Now, this article is interesting, right? This article is titled, let me scroll up, Elon Musk, quote, encoded message, unquote. I don't know all about that, but it says means he's stacking Bitcoin. This is coming from Willy Woo, which I like Willy Woo. We haven't heard from him in quite some time. But I'm going to delete Elon Musk's name here. And it doesn't need to be an encoded message. I think anybody with a lot of capital is looking at this situation as an opportunity. Those companies that Cathie Wood of ARK Invest was talking about, they're looking at this and salivating right now. She said they wanted in. She didn't say that for no reason. We never got a report of them getting in. It's been the same old companies, right? BlackRock, you hear not Vanguard, what's the other one? I can't remember the other one's name. BlackRock, ARK Invest, Franklin Templeton. There's another one. Their name just slips my mind. But we didn't hear about those other new companies getting involved. I think they were waiting. Now look at this opportunity. If they didn't have a little bit to do with this, of everybody sort of like all these people at the top communicate. I told some stories before as an example of my experiences in life, being in certain places and watching so-called opposing factions come together like it was nothing. Where I think regular people, if they didn't see that, they would never believe these people congregate together and treat each other with such respect. So just from experiences like that, and I've had many, I personally feel and know that they all communicate with each other at the top. They're not divided like you think. Company not against company. No. And I wouldn't put it past them to say, hey, listen, when this moment comes, let's take this particular action. And those prices come down to a delicious point where all their buddies can get in and get that at a lower price. This is not about retail, in my opinion. It's not about retail. Although retail is a piece on the chessboard. And I believe at some point I may be wrong on this. I could be wrong. This is my humble opinion. And then they get in at a very good area where clearly if they have clients, and they do, that are going to be participating in Bitcoin, they want that price to skyrocket. It doesn't take much to pump it. But if you can bring that price down lower, when it does pump and it goes and it rises, you're going to make that much more money. And your clients are going to be that much more happy, which brings in more clients. This is the perfect setup for them. So what that would add up to, and how it does benefit retail, if indeed this happens, not financial advice, the prices of many things can skyrocket. And now maybe it makes a little bit more sense as to why we got so many predictions of the biggest bull run possibly of all time coming from so-called experts for the last year. If those conditions manifest or bring to fruition that type of energy or that type of scenario, it could be huge. So yeah, I don't believe it's just Elon Musk, and I believe he would be one of them. Sure, anybody with a lot of capital. I'm not talking about regular people. They have certain struggles. I understand that right now. But these big money people, they play by a different set of rules. They don't have the same worries. Of course, I think they're looking at this as an opportunity. They are the ones that right now will buy a dip because they know the type of money that's going to be made out of this. So now we'll just stop right there. Let's move on to this one here. I'm actually enjoying giving my thoughts today on these things here. So I'm doing a little bit more of that than just reading of the article. I like to mix it up from time to time because I have so many thoughts. This is an interesting time period. It is. Now, this article here is titled, "People Will Be Surprised. Ethereum Founder Gives Rare Epic Prediction." Why? Why now? Why are they're all coming out right now saying, hey, we're still bullish. You know, some people believe that in karma, where I forgot what it's called, but if they tell you what's coming and you don't heed that warning, then it's not on them. There's no karma, negative karma's on them. I forgot what that's called. But some people believe that. So they'll tell you, hey, this is coming. This is about to happen. If you allow it to happen, you take no action. That's on you. That's how they feel. But I think they know what's coming. It says Vitalik, who co-founded Ethereum recently, made an optimistic prediction about the future of the ecosystem. He thinks that solutions to cross L2 interoperability issues will soon transform the user experience across the network, including L1 rollups and sidechains. He believes there is a lot of energy and determination within the community to make this vision a reality. I agree with him. Interestingly, Buterin's comments on the Ethereum ecosystem came amid one of the biggest market collapses of all time, when the price of ETH itself lost 25%. He's not worried about it. Everybody, so many people worry about the price. They're not looking at the big picture. That's a little picture. That's the price right now. Crypto bounces back and forth all the time. This is nothing new. We've had crazy crashes, insane crashes. This is nothing new. But that's right now. That's small picture stuff. Big picture, crypto is insanely bullish. He knows it. Brad Garlinghouse knows it. Samson Mow knows it. Raoul Pal knows it. It says ETH itself lost 25% in the last 5 days and 20% at its peak in the last 24 hours. The liquidations caused by this painful price action totaled $1 billion. And let's see, I'm scrolling down. Bear with me one moment, please. These articles are written. I can tell that they're rushing it, and I get it. There's probably a lot of money to be made in these articles right now. So they're a little bit choppier than normal. Some of them are lacking of detail, but they're getting the right message out, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to move on from there. Now we have this article here. I might skip this Fed article. You all heard about the U.S. Emergency meeting, the Fed calling emergency meeting, and Japan markets collapsing, which I already told you. We've been discussing the problems in Japan. I told you they have a massive amount of problems in Japan's financial systems. You know what? Let's read this article. Why not? It's called. This article is titled "Breaking: U.S. Fed Calls Emergency Meeting as Japan Markets Collapse." In an unprecedented move, the U.S. Federal Reserve has reportedly called for an emergency meeting today. This meeting aims to reassess interest rates as global markets experience severe downturns. Moreover, analysts expect a Fed rate cut by 50 basis points after the meeting. The Japanese yen has plummeted by 13%, while the Korean and Taiwanese markets are nearly down nearly 10%. Furthermore, Bitcoin price has seen a drastic 18% decline over the past 5 days. Meanwhile, S&P futures have dropped 4%. We'll see what happens with the Fed. We shall see. The Fed has always known this was going to happen. They said that this was going to affect the jobs market. That's just, when you raise interest rates, people lose their jobs. The job market gets a little bit more turmoil. That's just how it is. Raoul Pal spoke about this a year ago. So this is not news to them. So now let's move on here. We have a Bitcoin article, but I feel like we already sort of spoke about that type of information. Bitcoin being down a significant amount, which in the future, long term, like I said, I don't think that's going to make any difference. They want Bitcoin to explode and go to a higher price. They're involved with it. You think they're just going to let it die? No, not at all. So we'll see we'll monitor the movements and the movements of these companies, and we'll see where it ends up. So now we have this article. We'll end off with this here today. Economists call for emergency rate cut. Goldman Sachs increases recession odds to 25%. People are now starting to see what I've been speaking about for about 2 years now. We've been in a light version. It's not a full on depression. It's a light version of a depression, but the suffering is felt everywhere. The people, I think, know it. But it begins here. Bond traders are now betting that the Federal Reserve will announce an emergency interest rate cut amid the Black Monday market sell-off that saw asset prices from cryptos and precious metals to stocks. Why did they put cryptos and precious metals first when it all began in the stock market, which lost trillions? The other article said that the amounts are not even close, right? But they start off with crypto and precious metals and end off with stocks, and though stocks is the least of people's concern when it's the major concern. But anyway, I just don't like it when some of these article writers, I can tell they have a lot of bias and favoritism, and they kick other markets when they're down, but try to play nice with the market. That's actually the problem. It says, as noted in a report from Bloomberg at one point in early trading on Monday, the swap market was pricing in a 60% chance of an emergency 25 basis point rate cut within the next week as the Fed looks to head off a recession. So they have to get their numbers together. So they're saying 25. This other article said, 50? They're expecting a 50 basis point. We had another article we read from, I'm not sure if it's this video or another one, where they said a 100 basis point. So no one knows. They're all hoping, right? They're all hoping. But I do believe that the Fed, I believe that they might do this. Yeah. There's a lot of motivation there, especially political motivation to make this right. So we shall see. We shall see. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.